Could a 10-second clip end a career and cancel a tour? It showed singer Locke Ushvin slurring through slurs aimed at her fans. Sponsors bolted, venues issued statements, even her drummer quit, stunned overnight. But fragments lie, power hates context, and contracts whisper dangerous truths. Stay with me until the very end, and don't forget to tap like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Because what follows puts power on trial. Locke Ushvin wasn't new to controversy, but she respected the mic. Her tour Night Signal launched in 20 cities, manager Priya Cortez steadying budgets while promoter Mason Vale promised sellouts. Then a clip surfaced, Locke, backstage, apparently spitting a slur. Within hours, Titan Arenas paused dates. First injustice, cancellation without inquiry, citing morals clauses buried in addenda. Publicist Gideon Frost urged silence, but silence sounded like guilt. Locke insisted she'd never said that word on stage. Drummer Hank Morrell quit, posting "Can't support hate." Priya begged venues for a hearing, they refused. Mason Vale texted, "We'll regroup later," already counting refunds. Rumor became structure, structure became judgment. Errors hardened into headlines, calcifying the misunderstanding. Davis, I, watched the press conference, Titan CEO, Warren Pike, gravely condemning language unbecoming. The clip rolled again, cropped brutally tight, muffled crowd roar underneath. Locke's face, strained, a subtitle added the slur in block letters. Locke asked for raw footage, none offered. Fans splintered. Hashtags swarmed. Mason urged a temporary retreat, positioning himself as the adult in the room. Priya tracked the clip's origin through reposts, an anonymous handle, Northlot Witness, first to upload. Kiki Monroe, Locke's social strategist, noted mismatched room tone to the venue's acoustic profile. Yet Titan threatened liquidated damages if Locke spoke publicly. Mason circulated a memo, "We must distance." Authority, venues, sponsor boards, booking agents, leaned against her, gravity measured and lost guarantees. Theo Riddick, the tour's audio engineer, whispered that rehearsal tapes contradicted the clip. He'd heard Locke reading hate mail aloud, then condemning it line by line. But his hard drives were seized by insurance auditors. When Priya demanded logs, the files were unavailable. Outside Locke's rented bungalow, a black SUV idled. And then, the midnight knock split the silence. At the door stood Tony Delgado, a stagehand with calloused certainty. She'd kept a personal SD card from night 2, habit, not conspiracy. "Check the mezzanine camera," she said, sliding the card across the table. The file is labeled mez_2a_continuous.mov. Theo loaded it, breath caught. The frame opened wide, Locke holding crumpled letters, saying, "These are the words sent to me." We watched Locke speak, quote, "You don't belong in our town." Unquote. That's hate. That's fear. That's not us. Applause, not boos. The slur appeared in a second letter. Locke repeated it, then spit it out like poison and denounced it. Theo compared time codes to the viral clip, identical jaw movement within a different preface. A splice. Context severed. Intention inverted. Gideon wanted to tease the discovery, Priya insisted on a legal path. Attorney Alana Keats drafted demands to Titan, Mason, and Northlot Witness for preservation of materials. Titan replied with corporate frost, decision stand. Mason pleaded ignorance. Meanwhile, Ruby Kellen, a rival singer, retweeted the clip with a sanctimonious paragraph. Locke's streaming numbers fell. The Truth waited, pacing backstage. I interviewed Warren Pike on camera. He evaded, citing brand safety and family audiences. I asked about contractual duty to investigate. He smiled thinly. Priya filed a motion in county court seeking a temporary restraining order to stop the cancellation cascade until evidence could be reviewed. In affidavits, Theo swore to the rehearsal context. Titan's lawyers moved to dismiss, swift, clinical. Mason convened a Zoom with promoters, eyes darting off-screen. He painted Locke as unmanageable, citing past tardiness and one alcohol relapse years ago. He claimed moral clause activation was automatic. In a private chat leaked to us, he wrote, "Better to cut bait now, preserve our insurance." He doubled down publicly, "We stand against hate." Locke listened, knuckles blanched. A subpoena unmasked Northlot witness as a freelance content editor named Harlan Crow, contracted by Mason's own agency for sizzle reels. Crow's Dropbox revealed clip_v4_punch_ and .wave, with an overlay of crowd noise from another city. His invoice memo read, "Deliverables, crisis cut." The very clause Mason wielded against Locke, public morality, now spotlighted intentional deception. The very rule he used against her now condemned him. Alana Keats filed for injunctive relief and damages, attaching Crow's invoice and audio stems. Our segment aired, the side-by-side comparison, mezzanine wide shot versus viral crop, showing the amputated preface. Fans who left began returning, sheepish. Titan's board scheduled an emergency session. Warren Pike's assistant requested any and all exculpatory footage, suddenly interested. Momentum, at last, leaned away from the accuser. Theo reconstructed the entire rehearsal sequence, matching ambient frequencies to the mezzanine mic. The viral file's crowd bed peaked at 3.2 kHz, impossible for that room's carpeted mezzanine. Priya mapped a timeline, upload, shares, sponsor withdrawals, Mason's distancing memos. Pattern snapped into focus. Darius Ng, head of tour security, added logs, no booze, no incident. The narrative skeleton began growing organs. Mason's agency issued a lawyer statement, "We acted in good faith." But Harlan, facing contempt, flipped. He produced emails where Mason wrote, "We need an unambiguous moment." He'd asked for the preface to be trimmed to fire. Titan's insurers balked, fearing fraud exposure. Sponsors started hedging publicly, "We await outcomes." Mason's composure thinned. He stopped taking Priya's calls. Court granted expedited discovery. We obtained Mason's Slack thread titled Morals Clause Strategy. The plan, trigger termination to avoid soft ticket markets, blaming Locke while preserving promoter margins. Ruby Kellen's manager appeared in the thread, offering amplification. Alana filed a tortious interference claim. Gideon arranged a controlled press viewing of the uncut footage. Locke, a quiet storm, said only, "Roll it." In a rented screening room, journalists watched the unbroken scene, letters, condemnation, and ovation. A split screen then displayed Crow's crisis cut. Gasps. One columnist whispered, "We burned her alive for ratings." Alana served Titan with notice, reinstate or face injunction and punitive damages. Warren Pike's legal team requested a settlement conversation. The truth swelled, pressing against institutional seams. Tony remembered something else, a crate delivered to the edit bay labeled Archive, Kellen. Inside, time-stamped rehearsal b-roll, including Locke handing Tony the hate letters minutes before showtime. Whoever raided Theo's drives missed Tony's stash. Cross-referencing revealed the very crowd roar used in the crisis cut came from Ruby's opening night. But one detail was always there, buried in plain sight. We confronted Ruby on camera. She denied involvement, then admitted her manager's shared assets to contextualize a conversation about harm. Her face blanched when we played the mezzanine audio. Priya confronted Mason in mediation, You tried to save your numbers by killing hers. Voices rose. The judge warned of sanctions. Locke, composed, spoke. You didn't just edit my words. You edited my character. Forensic examiner Marla Chin presented waveform overlays, mismatched reverberation tails, splice artifacts, and imported crowd dynamics. An internal Titan memo surfaced. Proceed with cancellation, optics favorable. The judge admitted punitive claims. Discovery widened to ensure correspondence. Sponsors pivoted, issuing joint statements supporting full context. The mountain of evidence stabilized, the slope inverted. A breakthrough wasn't coming, it had arrived. In open court, Harlan Crow read Mason's email aloud. Make it definitive. Cut the tee up. I need a villain. The room went still. Then the judge turned to Titan's counsel. Explain your due diligence. Warren Pike stood, throat tight, apologizing to Locke before cameras. And then, every voice fell silent as the truth hit the table. The court granted an injunction ordering immediate reinstatement of the tour and awarded interim damages against Mason's agency for tortious interference and defamation per SE. Titan settled, funding a corrective campaign and issuing a rare on-air apology. Ruby's manager was sanctioned, her amplification deal suspended. Mason surrendered his promoter's license pending a bar complaint referral. Locke's name, restored, on the record. Locke returned to a packed arena, opening with the letters, this time displayed in full on screens. She read each line, then invited fans to drown them out with melody. Priya hugged Tony in the wings. Theo checked levels, grinning. Mason exited the industry news crawl, a warning more than a person. The ovation felt heavier than sound, like a verdict. Spotlight finds Locke alone. Palm open, the crumpled letters turned into confetti under her boot. The band holds silence. Lesson: context is not a courtesy, it's the spine of truth. Power thrives on crops and captions, until evidence stitches the frame back together. If you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, subscribe to this channel, and never miss the next case where truth prevails.